Hey everyone, welcome back to Lash Boss Radio. I'm Shelby, your host, and today I'm joined by Wednesday Wood. You probably know her from her podcast, the Wicked Lash Podcast, and she's also a salon owner. We talk about salon ownership and a lot of other exciting things that she has going on this year. So stick around and hope you guys enjoy. All right, Wednesday, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I love Austin. I love coming to Austin. I love your podcast. So this was just a win-win situation for me.
No, I'm so excited you're here. And you drove all the way from Houston, which we were just talking about isn't so bad. Just like enjoying that quiet time or listening to what you want to listen to. And,
Yes, it's actually so cute, like passing like all the, like I came the 290 way. So when you're passing like all the like vintage shops and stuff, and it's so cute.
By the way, I have a cold drink and a hot drink.
I know. I was like, you got two drinks going on.
I go to Starbucks every morning and I always want the hot drink, but the reason why I get cold is because it makes sense because I can't drink the hot drink yet. It takes a minute, but I want to drink something right away, so I get a cold drink to drink and then the hot drink. But yeah, anyway.
I like your thinking.
Yeah. So you're a salon owner. There's so many people in this industry that start out and that's something that they really want to do. Is that something that you felt you were going to do when you first started out, or is that a goal that came about later?
So I guess I'll just kind of like take it back to like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I became right out of high school. I didn't know what I wanted to do really. And I landed a job as a receptionist at a salon. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll do hair. The thing about me is I never really grew up thinking like, oh, this is what I want to be when I grow up. Like I never really had like any goals or aspirations, honestly. Like I know that sounds horrible, but I really didn't. And so I landed this job as a receptionist at a hair salon, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll do hair, whatever. It might be easy. Like it's cute, it's fun, it's cute. Everyone dresses nice. It's a cool atmosphere. And I quickly realized that that job would not be for me. It was very hectic, and honestly, the thing that turned me away from like wanting to do hair was that it took so long that they would only really see like 2 or 3 clients a day, which is so funny now because I do lashes. But at the time, long story short, I'll kind of like give you the short version. I ended up going to aesthetic school because there was also estheticians at that salon. And I liked that they, like with waxing and facials, you kind of just like busted people out like back and forth, back and forth. So I ended up doing waxing just for a really long time. I worked at so many salons, like either as a receptionist or a service provider, that I kind of realized like what not to do. And all of them were ran like so poorly that it made me want to open my own salon because I was just like, okay, I already know like what not to do. And I feel like as a service provider, since I've been the service provider, that I would know how to successfully be a salon owner and manager and how to run and manage other service providers. Because most of the time, in most cases, when someone owns a salon, at least in my area, it's really just like a rich person that wants to open a salon. It's not someone that's been in the service provider's shoes before. And that's why I think that they were always ran so poorly. So to answer your question the long way, yes, I kind of always wanted to open my own salon just to prove that like I can do it. I know how to do it. I know more than y'all. Like it's going to be successful because I've actually been a service provider. I've actually done the nitty gritty. And I just think that's what can make you a successful salon owner.
Yes, and being good at business doesn't mean it has to be done in an unethical way or by treating people poorly
Yes.
and not paying them well enough. Like you can have all of it if you do it right. But I do think it's helpful to have the experience as being in their shoes because I wouldn't want to work for someone like this or a place like this. What would I want? And have those things. So I love that.
Sucks having someone tell you what to do when they've never even done your job before.
Right. Exactly. So is there anything that surprised you when you became a salon owner, like good or bad?
It it really this probably sounds like a no-brainer to most people, but it really is a lot more work than you think it would be. I seriously thought like, yeah, I can just keep being like a fully booked service provider and still hire people and have people working under me. And like that's really not the case. I feel like most of us, start as like whenever we first go out on our own, we're probably like renting a suite or something and we're fully booked and we're like, "Oh my god, I'm so booked. I'm turning clients away. I keep raising my prices and my clients keep staying with me. I need to just hire an apprentice or hire someone under me to take all my overflow and like I'm going to make so much money and it's going to be so amazing." But it's not as simple as that. Like this is probably a hot take or an unpopular opinion, I don't know, but something I've learned is you can't be a fully booked service provider and still manage employees and try to grow their businesses and try to grow their books and make sure they're handling customer service the correct way and make sure that they are up to date on their techniques and they're up to your standards. You can't do that when you're sitting in a chair all day taking care of other clients. So you either have to hire a manager or you're going to have to let go of some of your clients and cut your schedule down in order to make sure your other girls can flourish.
Mhm.
So that was something that really hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, "Oh, I can't just like keep doing my full schedule and have other girls working under me." It's kind of like having kids. Like you really have to pay attention to them 24/7. They're working for you for a reason. They need your guidance.
Mhm. For the people that are in that situation where they are fully booked and they're like, "Okay, I'm ready to get a bigger space, start hiring people," what would you say is what they're looking at if they decide, like, to try and do those things, to try and let me be the janitor, let me be the receptionist, let me be the trainer, etcetera, and the service provider?
If I could go back in time, I would like maybe first of all, I would probably start with just hiring one person at a time at first, which is what I did, and kind of figure out your strengths and weaknesses as a manager. Kind of try to get a system down because I like had this whole like studio handbook like typed out and like everything all structured and stuff before I hired my first employee and I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, but like that's going to change because you don't know what you don't know. So I would maybe just start out with hiring one person and like kind of let them know like, "Hey, this is my first time ever hiring someone. Please feel free to give me feedback and we can kind of just try to figure out together what works best for us and try to just like trial and error things, even though this is, like, someone's career, but, I mean, chances are if you're hiring someone, you've already, like, been in their shoes, you've built your own books before, you've grown your own books before, so you know how to help someone else, but I would just be super transparent, like, "This is my first time ever hiring someone, we're kinda gonna go through this together." Um, Hold on, what was the question again? Sorry.
Yeah,
Cut that.
so, what would it look like if they
Uh-huh.
didn't do that? Like, if they were just like, "I can do this, like, I'm
Oh,
gonna
yeah, yeah,
take
yeah.
on
Okay,
everything."
so everything I just said, and then, I had a point where I was going with this. Um,
Like, if they try to overload themselves, what
yes.
happens?
Okay, yeah. So I would definitely, like I said, just start with one person and kind of see from there. But chances are you are going to probably have to either cut your clientele in half once you get that first person trained, and maybe even like if I could go back in time, I would just like make that person like my lead lash artist or something like that and kind of train them and perfect their skills. And they can kind of take all of your clients, that way you can take a step back from the chair and then focus on training the rest of your team, being a manager. Because for me, I don't know if you have a studio manager, that's probably something like I at this point in my life, well, I know you have like 50,000 more things on your plate than I do, but at this point in my life, I would rather give up my clients than hire a studio manager because I would rather be in charge of like the customer service and all that stuff. But if you don't want to get rid of your clients, then you might have to bring on like a receptionist or a studio manager or something like that. Like you really can't do all the things.
Yeah. You'll end up running yourself really ragged, and, I know that that's something that I did, and it ended up creating so many issues because I was like, I can do all of this by myself. And I do
Mhm.
agree. It's nice to be like the manager yourself because you're so close to each different thing in the business because you're not seeing clients. And then who knows, you might have somebody that really steps up and would be perfect for that role, but you
Mhm.
don't know until you see that, and you can't see it unless you're not really working on people, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And you can end up, if you, like you said, like run yourself rampant and make yourself burnt out, you can end up like resenting your business and like just want to throw the whole thing away and start over.
Oh
So
yeah.
I think it's really good to try to bring someone on to help you with all that overload because we are just one person and you can't take care of clients all day, take care of employees. And then in some cases, like we're also moms.
Right.
So one thing has to give, and most of the time, you're probably gonna have to give up some of your clients, and that's fine.
And it will work out. I mean, is if you have the extra time to train other
Mhm.
people, then it will actually work out. But if
Mhm.
there is a weird transition period where it's like you haven't fully finished training someone, but you also need that time to do that. So you need to step away from clients. So it is interesting. I recommend also maybe doing a price increase right before
Mhm.
for your services at least. And then maybe you'll lose a few clients from that. And then, or they can go to the new girl who's like under your wing. You can see my new girl, I'm going to be with her the whole time. You'll pay this price, or I'm going to be now at this price. And that might help, like if they're in that
Yes.
transition, right?
Yes, and then something else I was gonna say is I feel like a lot of us are like so worried about money. Like, I can't stop taking clients because this is the one thing that's keeping my salon afloat. But like, I have to train these other girls too because like I have to make money and like money this and money that. And like, I get it, money is super important. And I'm kind of talking to my past self here as well. But if that's something that's super gonna stress you out, then make sure you have your financials in order before you bring on these employees because adding employees is not like an automatic like cash injection to your business. Bringing on employees is an investment. So make sure you have savings, make sure you have all your debt paid off. Like it's something you might lose money at first bringing on employees because you have to buy a bunch of products. They probably have to take a lot of model sets. You know, you have to be okay with like, hey, I'm gonna like lose some money at first. I might not like I might see a decrease in revenue for a couple months and like that's fine. Like at the end of the day, I know we start businesses to make money, but not everything's about money. It's okay to make an investment in bringing on a team in order for your business to grow in the long run. You have to think about the long term. So if you're going to be super stressed about money, then maybe have like a little
Cushion.
cushion set aside and have some bills paid off.
Yes. And all the more reason to make sure you're in the position to fully give everything to the people that you're bringing on. Otherwise, you're going to lose a lot of money doing that
Mhm.
in a lot of different ways, like with clients, with the training hours and everything. Yeah, you can definitely, especially if you hire too many people at once or something, that's a really fast way to lose money. You'll
Yes.
hemorrhage money real fast doing that. So you also have a podcast.
I do.
You have episodes that come out every Wednesday.
Yes, so funny. Yes, the Wicked Lash podcast.
How is that? And also, same question about that. Is there anything that surprised you?
Oh my god, it is so much work. I actually I'm gonna have a little fangirl moment right here. I've been listening to your podcast like ever since it first came out, so this is a crazy full circle moment for me. But I remember like you and Paul, I think it was your 100th episode, and y'all were kind of talking about it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to this because I really want to start a podcast. And I remember both of y'all being like, it is so much more work than you think it is. It really is. And I think at that point, like both of I don't know, like, both of y'all have already had help with it, but I'm still the only person doing it, and I'm like, "How hard can it be?" Like, it's not that hard, like, you just record it and, like, edit it, it's not a big deal, but it really does take a long time, and it's crazy, like, how much time we spend on something for, like, us we're not, like we're not necessarily getting paid for it,
Yeah.
but it does build trust with your audience and, it helps build that connection. So I think like yeah, we don't like necessarily like get paid for every time we post an episode, but in the long run it does help our businesses. So I do think it is a really good tool to have. And Another thing is, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be perfect, like how me and you were just talking about. You were like, "I used to record it, like, in my bed." Like, I only just now started doing this in a studio, and, like, yours was super successful even though you were just recording it in your bed. So, people ask me all the time, like, "What microphone do I get? How do I edit
Mhm.
it? How do I host my podcast?" Like, "Oh my goodness, like, what do I do? Where do I even start?" And it's like, it does not have to be perfect
Yeah.
at all. But yes, the one thing that did surprise me was it really is a lot more work than you think it would be, but it is fun nonetheless because I like to think of myself as like kind of like a computer nerd. So I genuinely like love being on the computer and like editing, and then you also have to like create like content out of your podcast in order to promote it. So that's
Right.
something that always gets me set behind too, is like I'm like, "Oh my god, yes, I just edited it, but now I need to get on Canva and like make stuff for it to post on my Instagram or no one's going to know that I even have an episode out." So it takes just a lot longer than you think it would.
Right. And then at the time that you're promoting this episode, you're also needing to think about recording your next one. And
Mhm.
yeah, it is a lot, but I agree. It's really fun. And I think if you're somebody, even with the salon ownership thing, if somebody can't talk you out of it with saying like, oh, it's gonna be like this and oh, you need to watch out for
Mhm.
that and all of these things could go this way. If somebody can't talk you out of something, then it's calling you probably.
Mhm.
So if you're somebody that is kind of thinking how you were, like, okay, how hard could it be? Then okay, maybe you're meant to do it because
Mhm.
it's not for everyone. But there are certain things that I feel like kind of call us. And yeah, I think if somebody can't talk you out of business ownership or certain projects or something, then it's meant for you.
Yeah, and I had someone ask me that owns her own business. It's not a lash business, it's a different business, and she asked me not too long ago, like, "Okay, like, how like, I wanna start a podcast, but, like, how much time does it take, and, like, how much money do you make off of it?" And I'm like, "I don't make any money off of it, but honestly, this is gonna sound really cheesy, but I don't care." So I started it in January, I believe, so LashCon in November was the first time I had, like, been to a lash event since I dropped my podcast, and just the amount of people that, like, came up to me, I'm sure you experienced this too, like, "I listen to your podcast, I love it so much," like, it's so funny because there were people that, like, didn't even, like, know my face or anything. I'm just like, "Yeah, like, my name's Wednesday." They're like, "Oh my god, I listen to your
Yep.
podcast," and I'm just like, "Yeah, that's me," and just, like, how much it's helped their business or, like, motivated them, or, like, I've had people tell me after listening to your podcast, like, I went and, like, signed a lease on my first commercial space and, like, stuff like that, and I'm like, that means more to me than getting
Money.
a cash injection from it.
Yeah, I was with you certain times whenever we would be walking at LashCon and somebody would say, they'd say, "Oh my god, I love your podcast." And there was some times where they'd like kind of look over at me and "Oh yeah, yours is cool too." And thank you so much. But yeah, it's so cool to like be out in the wild and talk to people that listen.
Mhm.
And there's so many lash artists that listen to podcasts and they love lash podcasts because they're working and getting all of
Mhm.
this information
We're
as
usually,
they're
like, alone all day working, so it kinda
yeah.
makes you feel like you're not alone.
Yeah, I love it. And there's so many more lash podcasts than there was in the
Yeah,
beginning too.
there's a
So,
lot.
yeah. So, in 2023, what lash trends do you think are going to kind of take over?
Someone just messaged me yesterday saying, like, "Hey, do you know anyone that can do these types of lashes?" And it was like an anime set,
Mm,
which I think it's just like, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like it's just like a super textured, like, wet lash look with, like, dramatic, like, increases between the texture, like, probably, like, 15 millimeter peaks and, like, 10 millimeter in between, like, that big of a jump, but it's called, like, anime lashes, an anime set. I feel like a lot of people are gonna start doing that, and then, yeah, I feel like the wet lash look and just, like, texture, messy, like, natural but messy, which kills my OCD mind because I'm, like, a top line, perfect line girl for life, but, like, no one wants that anymore. Everyone wants, like, the messy bun lashes, I feel like.
yeah. I one of the things I said was like the angel lash set,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
it's basically the wet look too. But I
Mhm.
actually like how Maddie from Light Heart Lash does them because she still does them really clean. And I
Yes.
really like people that, or I really like lash artistry that is very tapered at the corners and is just a very clean shape. I
Mm-hmm.
don't actually like messy
Me either.
at all. But like I feel like even with the texture, even with the um unfanning stuff, I really am liking how that looks. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that so at first when I actually saw it, I was like, "Oh, what could we call that if we start offering that?" And then it's almost like it's kind of taken over. I don't know if you've seen like her videos, but they have like a
Yes.
million something
I
views.
know.
So clients are probably just going to ask for that, and it's going to be like I think the new name.
She like created a new lash style.
Yeah.
Like that's
And I really
amazing.
think the name is gonna be that. I
Mm-hmm.
I think people might try to call it something else, but I think that's gonna be the name. And it's a cute
Yeah.
name. It's fine.
Yes.
Yeah, but
I think it's like because it is like the wet lash look, but it's like using 0.03s and
mhm.
it gives it like a more feathery
Yes.
look.
So soft, so feathery. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when I was seeing the wet look everywhere, it was more like it literally looked like wet lashes.
Yes.
These don't look like that.
Mm-mm.
And so, yeah, I really do. I like that
I know.
one.
I kind of want to get like my mega volume taken off and
Yeah.
ask one of my employees to do that on me. I think it would look really
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too is like I feel like dramatic. Like I literally am wearing like 15 millimeter lashes. Like I feel like dramatic lashes are like kind of going out of style. Like everyone, what is it on TikTok? Like the clean girl
Clean girl.
aesthetic and
Yeah.
like the Hailey Bieber aesthetic. Like Bella Hadid, like whatever they're calling it on TikTok. But yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like that's what everyone's going for right now. The thin eyebrows are coming back. The
Yeah. Yeah. So that's like in the next year, what do you think? Which direction do you think the lash industry is going in the next several years? We've seen a ton of changes in the
Mhm.
last few years. You've been in the industry quite a while, right? You've been in the beauty
It's
industry
10 years.
10
I've been
years.
doing lashes 6 years.
Okay. So, especially in the last like 5 or so years,
Mhm.
it has changed a lot. Do you feel like there's going to be any other big transitions in the next few years with lashes?
I definitely it's already like kind of happening. Like most stuff is like going online now. We're just like living in a digital world. So I feel like more online courses, more online like seminars. Like I actually right before I got here, I just got asked to be on an online seminar type thing, kind of like how you used to do with the
Mm,
Lash Boss
I
conference.
do that all the time.
Yes. So I feel like just and then like how Trina just came out with like the digital like forms, like you can do all your like consent form or I already do my consent forms online, but she does like her mapping like on her iPad and you can like send that to your clients and like just all that kind of stuff. I feel like everything is like turning like so digital, which is amazing. It's so easy to like consume content and take courses that way, which is amazing. And like even like Allie from Lash Anarchist, like she's doing like live lash trainings on Zoom right now, which is like so cool. I love that everything's going online because like I said, I love being on the computer. So the fact that like I know I do have a couple of online courses, but just I can pretty much like turn my whole like curriculum and put it online. Like that sounds amazing. And then like I said, just like the natural like clean girl aesthetic when it comes to like beauty trends in general, like the lashes, the eyebrows, the makeup, like I don't know. I feel like I'm still stuck in like 2014. Like I love like the full coverage. I love filling in my eyebrows. I love my lashes to be super mega volume. I'm just like an extra person. So I don't know how I feel about necessarily conforming to the clean girl aesthetic, but I feel like that is what everyone's wanting right now. They just want to look as natural as possible. Even like, I mean, classic lashes are making a comeback. Like I feel like I mean, I took classic lashes completely off my menu, but my employees, like, that's what everyone wants when they book with them, like classic lashes or like the wet lash look.
Mhm. I think what you said about going online, I agree with that too. I think we're gonna see a lot more social events going on with
Mhm.
lashes, and that's what we spend our money on getting to go to in person. And then as long as you already know how to isolate, how to
Mhm.
apply iPads and really apply lashes safely, you can really take any technique online pretty much. But I do think that conferences and lash social events, those things are still going to be, I
Yes,
think.
they still have their place because there's nothing like making those connections and like networking in person and like meeting your lash idols.
Exactly. Well, we just came back from the Lash
Lash
Bash,
Bash.
and yeah, we were like talking, and I was like, why don't you just drive to Austin
I
next
know.
week and like we can record? And yeah, those things happen whenever you like
Mhm.
see your lash friends and stuff more often. And you shared with me that you're thinking of putting on an event. Can you
Mhm.
share a little bit about that, like your ideas and everything?
Yes, it's still very much in the early stages. I'm shooting for like fall of 2023, but basically what I'm wanting to do is because I also have I have a large following of like people that are have other businesses that are not just lashes, like hair, like aesthetic injectors or like photographers, videographers, real estate agents, like people that just have their own businesses in general and they follow me for like business advice and even listen to my podcast for like business advice because anything I talk about my lash business, it can like pretty much be applied to any type of business. So, what I'm wanting to do in Houston this fall is kind of have like a business seminar. I haven't found a name for it yet. I'm juggling between a few names, but I want it to be for like even if you don't even have a business yet, maybe you are working for someone else and trying to think about starting your own business. I want anyone to be able to come to this event and be like, okay, I know how to start my own business now. I have everything I need. And then, or if you do have your own business and you're just like kind of stagnant and not growing and not sure what steps to take, you can go to this event and walk away with like actionable steps on how to scale your business. So I just want it to be business related in general. Like I do have some speakers lined up already. I don't want to announce it yet, but the topics be like marketing, branding, becoming an educator, like how to like build your own curriculum and position yourself as an educator and legal stuff, tax stuff, like just stuff that I feel like a lot of people go to beauty school and they're like, "Okay, I'm gonna start my own business." But they don't really know that it's a lot more than just knowing how to do the services and knowing how to check out your clients. Like there's so much more that goes into it. So I just want to create like a 1-day seminar where you can literally learn all of those things.
I love that. And I think it's cool also that you're mixing industries a little bit too, because it really is inspiring to people to hear from the way that other people think about our industry, or you think of something a little differently whenever you hear it coming from someone else that's not necessarily in our industry. I think a mix of both is nice. You also said something about how people go to beauty school and they aren't really well equipped with the things that they need to legally do their business the right way and make sure
Mhm.
they have all their ducks in a row. So it's really nice for people, even who are brand new to the industry, to go take a business conference type of thing because it'll show them really quickly what they need to do and do it the right way and not have to go through those periods of like trying to figure it out themselves and stuff. I hired a lawyer when I first started
Mhm.
and I got everything done that way, but it was super expensive. And I also just had a really hard time figuring out what all was needed.
Yes, like, I
So
kind of want people instead of, like, having to take all these, like, little mini courses, like, I want people to be able to go to this and learn literally everything they need to know in 1 day, and obviously, I mean, it is gonna be a lot of information, but you will have those connections with those speakers if you need it and, I mean, I'm talking this is only gonna be, like, around, like, 80 to 100 people, so it's going to be very close knit, and you will make those connections with the speakers in case you need to follow up with them about something else. And then also the thing about mixing industries is it can also be a good networking event because what if you're a hairstylist that goes there and you meet a videographer or
right.
you meet a lawyer and like you're making those connections that you can later use to grow your business.
I love that. That's a great idea. And it's a 1 day thing, you're
Mhm.
thinking, right?
Yes, I think so. Starting small this year, maybe in the future it can be as big as LashCon. We'll see.
Yeah. Same thing with Lash Boss Summit. I'm doing it 2
Yeah.
days and it's only 200 people. So same idea, like starting
I
small,
like the
intimacy.
close-knit environment.
Okay, so we're in a new year and we've got a lot of lash artists who are wanting to grow their businesses this year. What are a couple things that you really recommend that a lash artist has in place to do so?
Love that. So, I definitely think I feel like a lot of artists, like, spend all their time and energy on Instagram to get new clients, which, like, Instagram can be a tool, but honestly, at least when it comes to my salon, most of our new clients find us through, like, Google and our website. So, definitely have a Google My Business page set up if you don't already. It's free. It's just so your business is on Google and people can leave you reviews on there and all your information is on there. But also having a website, I feel like it's super underrated. I know so many service providers that don't have a website. Even if you're a solo service provider, you can still have a website. And I'm not talking about just like your booking site or your Facebook. Like having a professional website really will make you stand out from other people in your area. And then having professional pictures on there too. And like I was talking about earlier about investments, it is an investment, but it is so worth it in the long run too. So I would say like the two biggest things I would say that will set you apart from like other people in your area and help grow your business is to have a professional photo shoot, like a brand shoot, and you can use those photos like on your Instagram or to hang on your salon, but you can hang in your salon as like decor, but you can also have them on your website. That's going to make you stand out. And then just having a website in general because not everyone wants to like dig through your Instagram to try to find out what your policies are, how to book with you, what your location looks like. Having all of that stuff just like nicely packaged on your website and like all of your different services, what they entail, what to expect before your appointment. And then piggybacking off of that, if you have an online booking site already, like I use Vagaro for example, and I have just like an auto anytime someone books, I have an automated email that goes out letting them know like how to prepare for the appointment, what our policies are, any frequently asked questions, pictures of our studio, how to find our studio, where to park, what to do when you get there. And I know it sounds like okay, that like what does that have to do with growing your business? But standing apart from the other people around you that are doing the same thing as you and setting yourself apart and being different and looking more professional is going to help you grow your business.
Right. Because those clients, when they see that email, they're going to kind of be rest assured that they chose the right place.
Mhm.
They're going to have a great experience, obviously, because the lashes they get are going to be awesome. They're going to last a long time. You're also going to send a similar email, I'm sure, at the end of the appointment or follow
Yes.
up in some way. And they're just going to have all of these positive experiences with you in your business. And so they're going to tell their friends about it. But if it was kind of like bland, it was just
Mhm.
so so, you're not going to get the same reaction, I think, emotionally.
Yes.
And so, yeah, those little things that are automated, that isn't
Mhm.
really any more work continuously, it's just upfront work. I think that's a great idea, great tip.
Yes, and if anyone needs help with that, I am starting a little I don't wanna say a side business, but I'm starting, like, a new business in addition to my business. I am starting, like, a web design and graphic business if anyone needs help with building an online booking site or refreshing their current website or building a new website, anything like that, and I already have, like, some templates you can buy too already for Canva, like, if you need a new business card, new aftercare cards, new referral cards, just looking professional and standing out from because everyone says like, "Oh, the lash industry is so oversaturated. There are
Mm,
so many lash artists."
mhm.
Just stand out and be professional and try to rise above all those people that you think are your competition, and that will help you grow your business.
I agree with that. And also, if you think about any of the times that you're looking for a business to go to, whether it's like something for your car or your home or something, you look on Google
Mhm.
and you start clicking on the first ones that are popping up. And I judge the website. And if it looks like a stock photo or if it's just kind of like the font is like Times New Roman
Mhm.
and it just is really no personality. But then the next website I click on, it's infused with like personality and like a feeling, and you see about the company and you kind of see like what it looks like and who the people are. I'm going to that place.
Yeah.
And it's not even about the price or anything. It's just about I like to choose places that make me feel safe or like comfortable, or I kind of get their vibe already. I don't want to just show up somewhere where I don't really know what to expect. It just looked
Yeah, and,
boring.
like, businesses that are actually, like, putting in the effort to make themselves look presentable and like a legitimate business. Like, if you can't put your time and effort into that, then, like, how are your services gonna be, you know? That's my thought process.
Yes.
You can be the best, like, lash artist ever, but if you're not, like, running your business like a business or treating it like a business, then people might not wanna come to you. That's just how it
Yeah,
is.
that is a good point too, because one business cares a lot about their like image and presentation. So they probably care a lot about the service that they're
Mhm.
giving, like you're saying, and the experience that they're providing. Where this one, if you have a bad experience or something and you tell them about it, they're going to say, who cares? We obviously don't care about anything else anyways, but this one is going to obviously probably not do that in the first place. But let's say something did go awry, you know that they would care enough to like find a solution or something.
Yeah, it even kinda goes into, like, a lot of people are scared to raise their prices, like, "I don't wanna charge that much because I'm scared, like, people aren't gonna wanna come to me," but there are people like me, and I'm sure you're the exact same way, is, like, you're going to willingly pay more money for something because you know that it's gonna come with, like, a better experience, and it even, like, for an example, yesterday when I was choosing a hotel to stay in Austin, like, I'm purposely going to look for hotels that are like 100 to 200 plus dollars a night just because I know I'm going to get a better experience. Like I don't want something that's under $100 a night, and people are going to be the same way with their services.
Exactly. And with services too, think of the last time you got your hair done. Do you even really know how much you paid?
I have no idea how much
Me
I
either.
pay. Like she just hands me the iPad and then I click 25% tip and I'm like, "Okay." Like I don't care.
Same with my nails. Like I just get my nails painted but I honestly don't know. And if there was ever like a sign posted that said our prices are going up, I don't even know how much that was,
Yeah.
but I don't remember what I paid last time. And I think when it comes to people that appreciate the experience and how it looks in the end, are the clients that you're trying to market to. So I think it matters what we're saying in our website and what we're saying on our social media pages about our services. It's not about the discount or the price or something. It's actually about the experience and about the problems you're solving by getting this service
Mhm.
done and stuff, you know?
1,000%.
So, for any lash artists that are wanting to connect with you or listen to your podcast, how can they do that?
So my Instagram is Wednesday the Lasher, and my podcast is the Wicked Lash Podcast. You can find it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And then if you have any questions about like the web design or templates or anything like that, you can just shoot me a DM. I did already create like a new account for my web design, but I haven't like fully launched it yet. So if you need to find me, I will be on Wednesday the Lasher on Instagram.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.